Services Committee for Grand Forks County will come to order at 2:10. All commissioners are present. The first matter before the commission is the FEMA Hazard Mitigation Buyout Program. And we have Nick to talk about that. Mr. West, is he available?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can, Nick.
Good. Yeah. Well, I'll get the conversation started here because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussions and a lot of things to decide and many different topics to consider here. So just a little background for the board, with all of our recent floods we've had and our four flood FEMA disasters in 2 years, and now we're in drought conditions. It's just crazy to think how our weather is just black and white, it seems like. But during those floods, we've had a number of folks that were cut off and had flood issues, couldn't get to their homes and flood damage, whatnot. Well, it sparked a big interest in the general populace, about just flood buyouts in general. So our emergency services department compiled a list of 16 rural residents that were interested in getting bought out. So an emergency management and myself a little bit in conjunction with Department of Emergency Services got some real basic information. We sent a letter, Emergency Services and DES to give the right credit, it wasn't me, but sent a letter to these folks, just giving them the basic outline of the program. And in there, we stated that they would get compensated about 75% of their value. I think it was 75. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong on that. And we got 4 folks that responded back. They were still interested after they heard heard about the details of the program. And that list is being displayed right now if you see that in your computer. 1 in Arvilla Township, 2 in Turtle River, and 1 in Rye. The 1 in Rye Township was determined that it did not qualify for the program because the house itself is not in the floodplain. It was an access issue, which we have a lot of those. There's a lot of people got to take boats to their house, for example, and this is one of them. The 2 in Turtle River Township would qualify for the programs, and the 1 in Arvilla is to be determined. It was right on the fringe, but if you guys remember, Mark Pierce is the one and lives in the town of Arvilla. He's been before the board. He's talked to probably most of the commissioners here and myself and Kari, and his house gets flooded a lot. So I think with a little bit of my personal opinion, with a little bit of engineering, an elevation certificate, I think we could get him qualified. But some of the decisions for the board is would we sponsor this program, how this works with the township, some of the zoning issues. If we do sponsor these programs, would we cost share in them? There's some mixed history in our cost sharing through the past. Recently, we haven't, but in pulling some old meeting minutes in the packet that was sent out, we can see that there was some cost sharing that had been done. And, I don't know the circumstances behind those ones. Maybe they were unique, I'm not sure, but there is some evidence of it in the county minutes. As of right now, the public believes the county does not cost share. So if we do decide to cost share, in all fairness, we should maybe resolicit those 16 folks that originally had expressed interest. But I think we're a little ways from going there. But for now, I'd just like to start the discussion with everybody and go through a lot of these questions. And we do have Mr. Todd Jors and Justin Messmer with North Dakota Department of Emergency Services on board. Those are the guys that administer the program. They know a lot of the details on ownership of land and some of that stuff.
Hey, Nick,
yeah.
Can you hold on 1 sec? We're having some problems here.
Hello? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. You know, Mr. West, I was wondering if the funds that our share came from a program that ran through the Red River Regional, and those were the funds we were using for our share. No?
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
think I think we need to contact Red River Regional and ask them that question, because I don't know that the money came the county share came from the county. It
Sure.
wasn't county dollars. I believe it was federal dollars through Red River Regional.
Red
Can I
River-
jump in real quick, Nick?
Absolutely, you bet. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Justin Messner. I'm the disaster recovery chief for the Department of Emergency Services, and I oversee all these programs. I've actually worked on some of those buyouts that happened in Grand Forks County back in the early, well, I should say around 2009, 2010, 2011. And the Red River Regional Council acted as your guys' project coordinator. They were the ones that basically worked with all of the homeowners, helped get all of the paperwork and appraisals and closing on all the properties, and they got paid for their services through the program as well. But they wouldn't have brought any money to the table. If anything, they just were the grant facilitators. They would have just basically administered everything for you. I believe on those projects in the past, I don't remember if the county did put any money into it. I think if anything, it might have been, like I mentioned, or like Nick was mentioning, the cost share might have been passed down to the local homeowners other than the amount paid for Red River Regional Council. But the Red River folks, they wouldn't have brought any money to the project. Like I said, it would have had to either come from the county or be cost shared down to the homeowners.
Thank you. Are you still with us, Mr. West?
I am, yes.
Do you have more for us?
Let's see. So I think well, to expand a little bit just on the overall project, so to speak, is we're probably to a point where we need to make some of those decisions if the county will sponsor, if the county will cost share, work through some of the zoning issues. I know there's issues where there's township zoning jurisdiction, and if the county, that relationship between township and county and zoning and challenges, because what I'm looking at is in particular, and I'll bring it up again, the Richard Witt household. That's the one with the bridge. And I brought this to the board before, and I know I brought it up a few times, maybe in some side conversations about it'd be good to get rid of the house. We can get rid of a bridge. So, because we're to a point on that bridge where we either need to do some rehab work or a replacement project on it. And those folks want to move. So now is a great time as far as timing. And if it does cost the county money, if we are going to cost share, then we have a couple of months to consider that for our budget as we're planning our budget for 2022. So if we can, my goal is to have some decisions made in the next couple months, work through our challenges. It'd probably take us a couple meetings. I'm anticipating we won't have all the answers today, but then we can, if there's a bridge project or the highway department needs to do something, I can work in the budget for next year. So and next year's already turning into a monster year for us, and it's going to be challenging. Want to do a big asphalt job, and oil's going up, so we need budgets are getting tight already. I can see it coming, but so yeah, I think if any of the other department managers, if Kari would chime in, maybe talk about some of her issues, or if Lane's on board to talk about some of his issues with planning and zoning, we just start having an open discussion here, I think is where I see this going.
Mr. West, correct me if I'm wrong, but is Cass County the only county that revenue shares in this state? Or cost shares, I should say.
I could barely hear you. Could you speak up, please? Who was that?
Yeah. This is Tom Paul.
Okay.
My question was, is Cass County the only one in the state that cost shares?
I can't say that for sure. I know they do cost share, and in speaking with their county engineer, they take the money out of their emergency fund. I'm not sure how that works. They are home rules, so maybe the rules are different, but they do cost share, and in my understanding, there are a few counties in the state that do, and some don't. So I haven't surveyed or have that exact data, but Cass County is the only one I know that does, or is one that does, and Walsh County, in my understanding, in recent years, does not cost share.
And I can add to that. This is Justin again. That's correct. As far as I'm aware, Cass County is the only one that I've dealt with. There may have been some in the past. We've done 1,400 acquisitions across the state. So there is a possibility that there might have been other counties that have. But as of right now, the only one I'm aware of is Cass County. And as as Nick was mentioning, it comes out of their emergency fund. I believe they have like a 1% or a 1 cent sales tax that they put in for their emergency projects, and then they use that for cost sharing out their buyouts as well as additional, levy, construction, drainage, construction, that kind of stuff. But it's just based off of their sales tax.
They have sales tax. We don't. The other question I would have is that, and I'm not sure where cost share money would ever come from, but if cost share money becomes involved from the county, wouldn't that give impetus for other property owners to jump on this list also?
This is Nick again. I would think so. Yeah, my understanding is the other 12 landowners that were part of the solicitation, when they found out they would only get 75% of the value of their home, it's not even that, because the program, my understanding is, it pays 75% of the value of the home, the appraised value, and it pays 75% of the demolition cost, because the house needs to be demoed. And if the county or township isn't going to pay anything, and let's be honest, township's not going to pay it. If the county doesn't pay it, then the landowner has to pay 100% of the demo costs. Therefore, the landowner's take home is 75% of the appraised value of the property minus 100% of the demo cost. So they take home 65%. And when they found that out, it's my understanding that the rest of the 12 said, we're not interested. So, and frankly, the Richard Witt household, he said the same thing, because he goes, well, I'll just sell it on the open market and get my 100% value out of it. The reason they're on there is because I think the county should step in and just because of the bridge issue and our investment into that one would be the anomaly. But the other three, we're still interested in the cost share as it was proposed.
Let me ask you this, Mr. West. Couldn't those homes be moved off the property onto another dry lot?
Commissioner Falk, could you speak up, please?
So much for this, Mr. Falk. My question was, couldn't some of these homes be moved off of their present lots and onto a lot that's dry rather than demolition and buyouts?
That's a great question. And
This is Todd from NDDS. I'm the State Hazard Mitigation Officer. The answer to that question would be yes. We could do an acquisition relocation, they call them. So you're basically buying that land and relocating that house to another high and dry property.
And I'll add to that. This is Justin again. The caveat with that is that it's that homeowner's responsibility to buy that other lot. They would have to purchase the lot where the house would be moved to. And it has to be, like Todd was mentioning, a high and dry lot. But as part of the process, part of this program, we would help lift up the home, move it to that new lot, help pay for a foundation to be poured and place the house on it and attach it. And then but getting utilities to the house from the curb to the house is the homeowner's responsibility. And then we would help attach the utilities at the house itself. Primarily, they keep the most of the work that they're willing to do at that new location kind of to that footprint of the house, because really FEMA doesn't own any of the land. Otherwise, like I said, that homeowner is responsible for purchasing the land that house gets moved to. Thought process behind that is that FEMA only buys land for the purposes of turning it into open space.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, this is Dave. I have a
Go ahead,
question,
David.
I have a question for you, Nick. A couple of them, actually. First of all, would it be possible to move the Witt house? I mean, it'd have to go all the way around to a quarter line road. That one doesn't look like it's movable, does it?
It's not physically possible.
Okay, I thought so.
No.
The other thing in that is, what is he asking for as far as market value in that house? And how does that compare to what we would have to spend on a bridge?
Well, once I'm going to spitball 300,000. 1 second here. He just bought that property a few years ago.
Right.
And then it flooded 4 times in 2 years, and he's frustrated. Didn't know it, not from the area. I have that email here, and regardless, it's not what he's asking. It's an appraised value is what would be offered anyway. I got it here, or thought I did. Dun, 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 dun. It's about once. I could also pull up the what the tax roll is at. Maybe that would be
that.
that might be the quickest, but
I've got the tax roll here somewhere. Got a minute.
Yep.
While you're doing that, here it is. What number are you looking for on the tax roll? Just the
well, I gotta find it.
true and full value?
Yes, true and full value.
267,800.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, he said he completely remodeled the inside. It does look like a nice house. However that works into the value, but that's why I just spitballed 300. It's a few years ago. I'm sure it's gone up a little bit, and being conservative.
Nick, this is Donna with the Grand Forks Emergency Management Office.
Yeah.
I think he's stating 354,000 is his appraised value of the home.
Oh, okay. I think he's guessing that. I don't think he's got an appraisal yet.
He's probably guessing.
Yeah, he's asking for more than it's worth, but that's how you negotiate, right? But a bridge, this is the Turtle River. It's going to have to be big. We're talking like a similar bridge as the Goose River south of Northwood that we're putting in. So you're at $500,000. If you want a nice concrete bridge, it's that 800,000 price. If we want a, like a prefab metal, which would certainly be appropriate here. Yeah, you're at $500,000 mark. So plus then you got all the future maintenance of it too. So, I mean, to me, we'd be light years ahead of just demolishing the house and demolishing the bridge, walking away from the whole property and being done. Yeah.
Nick, this is Kari. Don't we have some planning and zoning issues with that thought?
What?
Yes, yeah, there has been discussion. I know Ms. Wamson and I have had discussions about, county property and the funds that get used to buy that, and which pot of money it comes out of to buy the property, and a section line, abandonment. Well, it's not abandoned, but taking the bridge out and those access issues.
Well, but doesn't it also come down to the county does not have the authority to tell the township they can no longer develop that land. Is that correct?
Folks, Mr. Magnuson's here from Planning and Zoning. Let's hear a few things from him.
As far as the planning and zoning end of things, the last round of buyouts that we really participated in back in 2004 from the flood event back then, obviously they carried on, the process carried on in 2011. In 2009, that was our next big flood event, and through a FEMA flood insurance audit, it was discovered that there were quite a few structures in the floodplain that were permitted that shouldn't have been. In reviewing those, we found out that they were in townships did their own zoning, so it wasn't anything that we permitted. At that time, at the June 16th, 2009 meeting, the issue was brought up as far as sponsoring further hazard mitigation grants in townships do their own zoning, and the commission decided not to do that. They decided that the township zoning is an all or nothing deal in terms of floodplain administration. And I was directed with the assistance of Peter Welty, who was the state's attorney at the time, to draft a letter to the state FEMA office to figure out what the options are for these townships to do their own zoning. That was done. I was in contact with them at the next meeting on July 7th. We did have a letter that was sent out to all the townships from the township or from the commission chair at the time.
What happened?
I lost him.
Yep, I can't hear him either, Nick.
Thank you. I think Tom Ford figured it out here.
Everything's still live streaming. They just lost the audio, huh?
It looks like that, Andy. Yeah.
I'm not sure if this will fix it, but I think all of our audio feed was coming off of Debbie Nelson's feed, and now it's showing that she's muted.
Good point.
I can hear Nick and Andy. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes, Dave, we got you.
Okay.
This is Brett. I can hear all of you as well.
So we don't have any access to the commission room now? I guess we're all just on Zoom, the ones who can hear, right?
I think that's the way it looks, Dave.
Yeah, that's all I can hear.
Haley, can you hear us?
Hey,
She's on Zoom too, I think.
But she's in the chambers, it looks like.
Michelle Thiel says we are working on the audio. If you have your chat box up. Hey, Andy, any fires today?
I guess I am not sure if there has been or not. I haven't heard of any yet.
Okay. Heard there was a big one out by Welty's on County Road 16.
Yeah, out by Logan Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.